The world we live in faces large challenges, challenges that are existential for humanity in need of solutions. In order to develop these solutions, we need radical interdependence, entrepreneurship, leadership and passion. Bringing leaders together in an action-oriented community is essential. B for Good Leaders is building a global cooperative community in which entrepreneurship works together. Every month, we design a leadership dialogue in which you can learn and interact with influential leaders. Welcome to this month's edition of the B for Good Dialogue.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 5th Dialogue series. My name is Francine Lemos and I'm part of B for Good Leaders team and also a board member of B-Lab Global. I'm so happy to have you all here today. I'm with Him Zevenbergen, founder of B for Good Leader and also B-Lab, right, in Europe. And this is a very special dialogue series for us. We are 3 weeks now from the summit, and we are getting more excited each time, each day, and of course, we have more work as well. And in the past few months, we gathered a lot of people, the team, the partners, curators, co-hosts, stewards, and contributors. They have been working intensely to build the best experience for all of you in Amsterdam. And we are thrilled to share an overview of what's coming very, very soon. And we are going to today to share our vision, what we are going to work on the content side, the connections, the opportunities of network, how you can do that during the summit. And of course, we want to listen to your expectations as well. Today we will bring very special guests that are working on the backstage with us. All the curators, I'm so glad to have you all with us today. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Daniel, our chief storyteller, probably most of you already know him. Cherry Wen and Angel. Oh, hard to say her name. One of the window keepers that is going to be present during the summit. And thank you all to be here today.
Let me tell you what our Leaders Dialogue is all about. We do this every month. Why do we do this? We do this because we see that the world is rapidly changing. And industries need different structures, different strategies. We call that systemic change. And systemic change needs courageous leaders, leaders like you. We believe that entrepreneurs are the key change makers who can unite forces and creativity to build a new, better world. As Marcello and I call it, a new economy even. And the goal for Be for Good Leaders is to bring all these people together and to face together these core challenges that we have. So we're building a closely knit group of truly committed leaders to collectively shift markets, paradigms and behaviors. Today, we have this Leaders Dialogue, I think for the 5th time already. And this is a very special moment because this is a dialogue about the summit that we are very proud of to have on 11th and 12th of May.
And before we start the first theme, I'm going to interview our 2 founders. Let's take a look on a short video about the summit.
Building a new economy needs entrepreneurs. They are the change makers of a regenerative economy. We call them B for Good Leaders, action-driven, energetic, working together. Over 1,000 leaders from all over the world will be in Amsterdam on May 11th and 12th. They will work on critical issues like food, leadership, activism, B Corp, system change, and many others. Last year, we met in Rome and created a declaration. This year, we go for the action. When real leaders come together, real change happens. Together, we have the power to collectively shift markets, paradigms, and behaviors towards a more honest, more equal, healthier, and inclusive world. We leave nobody behind. Join us in Amsterdam at our annual summit.
Very exciting. And in order to share our vision, not only for the summit, but our plans for the future as well, I'm very glad to invite the two founders, Lynn, that's here with me, and Marcello, that is online. Welcome, Marcello. It's very good to have you both. And today we want to explore a little bit what's going next, what to expect on the summit, and of course, for you all that are here, please take advantage and we want to have a conversation with them. So join the conversation. Don't hesitate to raise your hands or post on the chat. And of course, we are very glad to listen to your questions. So shall I start with you, Lynn? First of all, why did you start Before Good Leaders? And I know you've been work on several networks like BLab. You started BLab. Why Before Good Leaders and why it now?
Well, first of all, a little correction. It's not me. I didn't found it or didn't start it. It's always with Marcello together. So also the networks before. So I think we both saw a need for leaders, not only organizations, but for leaders to connect. Mm-hmm. Which can say we have an organization here, an organization there, they have to work together. It's always about the leaders. And we saw that was actually missing. People who think alike, who have an ambition to change the world, to change the economical system, it's not so easy to do. So that is why we together, that's also what we did in BLab, together try to bring people together. And we see easily about 100,000 people that are thinking alike, the leaders of the B Corps, the leaders of the benefit corporations, the people who use the BIA, the people who are B lawyers. There are many companies, many people, leaders, who are actually thinking alike, moving in the same direction, but not connected in a network. So that is why we created Be for Good Leaders. And we thought that in Rome we would have 200 people. And, but we were heavily oversubscribed, so we went to between 600 and 700 people. Wow. That we had to facilitate in Rome. And so we saw that we were touching on something that was really needed. So that is why we started it together, and we have a long way to go, but a very exciting way.
Yeah. And how many people are you expecting to have this year?
This year on the summit? At least 1,000. Yeah. And that is, so we're aiming for 1,000, and that is now, I dare to say it's a little bit of a madhouse now. Mm-hmm. Every day people are coming in, every day people have hundreds of questions. If you go to the toilet and you come back, you have 50 more emails. And that is so, so it is a little bit, and that is our ambition. Mm-hmm. It has to be big, it is needed in the world. We want to go quick, and we want to do it super professional.
Yeah, of course. And Marcello, you are on the content side, I know. You are in charge of the curation together with Eric and the whole Nativas team, of course. It's a collective work. Today we have the chance to speak to the curation team. But I would like to listen from you. Can we say that the content, and I believe the content is a very important piece of the summit. It's not only the people, of course, most of the people that we have that makes it unique, but also what we discussed that. Is the conversation, it's a continuous conversation from what we have in Rome, and if so, what's new this year?
Hi, good to see everybody. I wish I could be in the studio, but I'm in Amsterdam. About 35 executives from the Dutch community and international community are coming together here at 6, and there was no way I could be in two places at once. My response is, well, lovely to see you. Just adding to what Lane said, We've been on this journey for 30 years. I've been promoting and running a business that tried to be sustainable and responsible. You know, when I was in my 20s, I continued on this journey with some of you like Walter Link and Herman Mulder and many others. We've done lots of things. And now, as we move towards 2030, you know, the decade of action and sustainable development goals and all the objectives that the world has put together, it's the moment to come together. It's the moment to coalesce all these various fragmented networks, you know, the impact investors, the SDGs, the B Corps, the Global Compact, the World Business Council, all these wonderful movements, but we don't have the power to really shift the economy. So this is what Len and I plan to do, and we are doing, is creating a structure where all of us can complement each other, work together, and have the power to really make a difference. Sometimes I compared, I said to Lane, it's a bit like we're trying to found a new UN, but not a bureaucratic UN, but a much more dynamic group of leaders and entrepreneurs changing the world. So this is really the long-term view of the summit, is together making a difference through this organization and the structure that we're providing. Now, on the content, we will, of course, have the curators coming. I say Rome was very important already. We had a lot of actions, initiatives. A lot of happened and continues to happen after Rome. And we want to go, you know, one step further, collecting about 50 different actions into a legacy report, into a plan forward inside this new structure that we are launching. And it's the same, more or less the same themes. We have added 1/6 track, which is Food Plus, which is really system change. And we have amazing large companies like Albert Heijn and Nespresso, smaller companies like Patagonia, disruptive companies such as Dopper and Tony Chocolonely, all presenting in a way their next practices, what they're doing at their best to change the economy. Yeah. So it's really action-packed. The curators will be with us this afternoon. They will share. I say that the other thing I want to add is that we had a lot of work together in the finance track to create the sort of financial architecture, investment money that could actually help us. Some of us have more money than others. You know, companies sometimes need money, sometimes they have more money. So we've gone very far in creating a financial architecture that can help us to go forward and invest in each other's companies. So that gives you sort of really energy, not only talking and thinking and strategizing, but also investing and having, you know, good money support what we are doing. Yeah. That's in a nutshell what I would say, Francine. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's very good to see the finance track coming alive, because it's one of the key elements of the declaration that was built in Rome. So I think it's nice to see it's moving forward towards action. And Lynn, the summit, it's not about the tracks only, which I believe they will be amazing, but we have other structures and other things, what we can expect. Can you share a little bit?
Yeah, it is almost, Francine, too much to expect. Literally, we have 10 parallel things going on at any moment in time. Mm-hmm. We have, of course, the plenaries, then that's for all of us. But besides the plenaries, we have the tracks that Marcello described. We have 6 tracks that the curators will later on describe. But besides those tracks, and the themes, we call them the tracks or the themes, we have several elements that are, in my opinion, also super exciting. We, for example, invited 6 indigenous leaders from all over the world. And they are going to tell a story that is very deep and impressive. So that means that on the Thursday we have 3 wisdom keepers, and on the Friday we again have 3 wisdom keepers, 3 other wisdom keepers, and they are coming from, for example, the Brazil, the Amazon rainforest. We have a Native American woman who will be in this presentation today as well. We have a Maasai leader. We have somebody from India, so we have great people there. So that is the Wisdom Keepers room. And that is, I think, going to be very popular. We have the Nespresso Cafe, as it's called, and there we have programs that are being done, like the energy game that is being played with Eneco, for example. We have Innate Motion with a program, and we have Albert Heijn with a program. So they're separate programs in the cafe. Then we have something that we had in Rome, which I always very much like, and that is the jamming room. And the jamming room is what the name says. We have to jam a little bit, not about music and dance, like what some people think. But for example, we have a presentation there about neuroscience. We have Elizabeth Illy, who is going to show us an expedition in photos. We have Kim Polman with a short film. We have somebody from Extinction Rebellion who's going to tell us what that is all about, and that is not so dangerous as some people think. So we have paper on the rocks to talk about new kinds of paper. So that is in the jamming room. And then finally, the 10th element is the marketplace. The Beurs of Berlage, where we do the show, used to be a commodity trading place, not for shares, but for products, for goods and services. So there are about 30 different booths that all our partners have a booth, and they will do deals, make deals. And that is what Marcello earlier said. This is all going to be action-driven, people doing business with each other. So those are it's very exciting. It's too much to choose from, actually, I think. It's difficult to choose.
Yeah, I hope no one will have the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I can summarize the summit, it's going to be a bit of inspiration, a lot of connection, and business opportunities as well. Can we say that?
Yeah, and a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun. It's always good to have. I see we have here questions from Tom Fels. Will speaker sessions be recorded? Maybe that's for you, Marcello. Will the speaker sessions be recorded and shared post the conference so that the parallel content, for example, the jamming room?
Many of the sessions will be recorded. Certainly all the plenary sessions will be videoed, and we will use the videos. So my answer is 70% will be videoed. Maybe we'll miss 30%. Also, some session might be a bit more private. We don't want to record those, but most of them will be recorded. Thank you.
Yeah, we are going to have a lot of harvesting during the program. So, of course, after all, we will make a huge effort to share the experience. But I can say that it's hard if you are not there. So please join the summit. And just to finalize, I would love to listen to both of you. What's your vision for the future?
The vision for the future, well, there are also some very exciting things that we're going to announce at the summit. So Marcello and I already spoke about that earlier, and that is, it's not a pre-announcement. We are going to build a cooperative. Cooperative, of course, is one of the oldest forms of people working together. We help each other, one for all for one. So a cooperative for 100,000 people to begin with, a global network where people can do business with each other, can trade with each other. So that is one of the big things that we are building. But maybe Marcello can add something to that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to add, without trying to be too ambitious, I think what I said earlier, we are at the time in history where people like us, this is our time. We have to come together and do this. If we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. So the cooperative is, sometimes people think it's a bit old-fashioned, but let's say we call it the new age cooperative, a new era cooperative, meaning we are all together working and sharing and a higher level of trust with each other. And the constituencies that we have here, I can just see on my screen some of the people I mentioned, Walter Link, Herman Mulder, Christoph Grobo, people with whom we have worked over the years. We are all in different, corners of this new economy, but we haven't really come together into one. So for me, it's a bit like building a new country, like a digital country, a virtual country, where all of us are working for a new economy, but we haven't quite connected all the dots. So this is what I think we want to do. And so far, many of you have accepted to be stewards, to become, to come to the summit. So we have a lot of energy, and more energy is coming. And then last thing I would say, I'm Italian, half Dutch by now, lived in many countries. I think the combination of the Netherlands, Amsterdam, is a very good place to do this. And I joke with my Swiss friends, if Davos has done it, well, Amsterdam can do it too. So we can actually create a new economic order from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam, and I think we can do it. And then finally, it's also up to all of us. Lynn and I are like trying to create the structure and the opportunity, but then all of us have to follow and work together. So this is the kind of spirit, the energy. We have the energy, we have the resources, we have the power. We just have to do it now.
Yeah, and I see another question here. Is it going to be an annual event, or will be there more events after this one? How can we continue post-summit?
Yeah, well, this is what we just earlier said, Francine. We are building a cooperative. Marcello also described it. And the summit is one of the things that we do. So there will be more summits even. So we are now planning to do 2 summits because the community is growing next year. And that is, and maybe even more than that. Besides the summits, we have the leaders' dialogues. Mm-hmm. And we have all kinds of other programs. Besides that, we're going to announce the exchange. The exchange is an AI tool that helps people to even better connect to each other. So I would say the summit, as it started in Rome, as a thing, as one thing, is now one element into the bigger structure of a cooperative. So that is, so the answer, simple answer is yes, there will be more.
Yeah. So yeah, we hope to listen more in more details soon. I see here that Marina Malmberg, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name correctly, Marina, sorry for that. Do you want to pose her question? Can we bring her? Are you there, Marina? I can read it. Okay, I'm a leader of the...
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay, love to listen to you, yes.
Yeah, thank you for giving this opportunity and the stage. It's amazing. I'm physically in Sweden, also almost half Dutch by now. I lead Sustainable Exploitation Foundation, registered in The Hague. But for the year, I'm struggling to even register a bank account for this foundation. So my special request to Be for Good Leaders is to waive the costs which I have paid for this participation, because I'm funding myself this work for 3 years, female-led startup, a feed for Horizon Europe. And the adventures I will tell you when we meet. Yeah? But there is no money in European Union for female leaders. Yeah? We have access to 1% of venture capital, and we have even less opportunities in soft funding. So that's my special request. Yeah? And I'm also representing indigenous community of expert women who are marginalized globally. As you maybe don't know, but most of corporations have experts, and they do not allow, by national laws of practically Asia, Africa, Latin American countries, expert women to work. I mean the spouses, yeah? Which ends up in a situation that we are basically jobless for life. We have 80% of divorces. We have mental health crisis, and we cannot find any jobs despite advanced skills. Yeah. So I will be very happy to tell you more when we meet, and I hope that this Be for Good Leaders will be a turning point in our existence.
Yeah, Marina, thank
you so much.
Thank you so much for bringing that to the table, Marina. We are really aware and concerned about these issues. That's why you created a program that I'm very proud to manage. It's called the World Leaders Program. We have now more than 70, almost more than that, already subscribed. So we are giving the chance to bring those leaders, because not only because their needs, but we do believe that we will bring innovation, a different perspective to the summit, and you are more than welcome. Absolutely. Priya is there. I hope she can post the World Leaders Program, and I invite you to subscribe.
Thank you so much. I will happily do that. I'm looking much forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, great. And
thank you.
Thank you. And to finalize, what you're most excited about the summit, Lynn and Marcello.
Marcello, why don't you start? What are you most excited about?
Well, I mean, for me, the most exciting is to see all of you and more of you. If I may give you the right numbers, I have the right numbers here in my computer. We have 750 people paid and confirmed, 150 confirmed but not paid, and 200 promised and not confirmed. So we are getting to 1,000. So it's fantastic. So I'm lucky that I see all the names, and it is an amazing group of leaders from 46 countries. The second thing I get most excited about is, you know, we have the chance to really make something quite historic happen. Because again, my vantage point, as I've been in many movements, maybe networks, I see that we are all a bit fragmented. So the impact investors have their own networks, and the SDGs have their own network, and the UN Global Compact, and the B Corps, and we don't really come together enough into a movement. And as you know, one of the things I learned from Bill Clinton is the progressives are not very well organized. So we have to organize ourselves. So that's got me excited. Can we really organize ourselves to make a difference in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about
well,
you?
the excitement of Marcello, of course, I share fully. I've created companies, so I always think, how can I create a company? I always think, what shall I do tomorrow? And so first of all, I don't enjoy enough what is happening today. Mm-hmm. This, for example, where we're talking to people, and also, so the enjoyment of the summit, you know, when we do a summit, and I'm doing part of the organization, a lot of the organization, I'm always thinking, I hope this succeeds, mm-hmm. and we will do well, and then you don't enjoy. So enjoying the moment that we're there, as Marcello describes, is very exciting. And for me, the goal is so exciting, because I really think that after 30 years that Marcello and I have been working together with all the people that we know, we can build something that is necessary, and we are in a hurry. And I have the feeling that we can be fast with this group of people now. So that is my excitement.
Yeah. Now, thank you, Marcello. Thank you, Lynn. But we also want to listen to some of the leaders that help us to build that. So let's listen a short video on this. We have some stewards, some leaders, some co-hosts that will share their expectations for the summit as well. Let's take a look.
So I really am looking forward to join the summit this year in Amsterdam, because I believe time is about action. The clock is ticking and we have no much time. So we need our movement of Be for Good leaders to become mainstream.
It's really good to look at the landscape that we find ourselves in at the moment, especially with the Be for Good leaders taking place, which is really looking at that role of business in society. And if we think about it, the question isn't new. I mean, there have been debates about the private sector's responsibility for its impacts for generations. But what is new is this emerging global consensus that companies can be the engine of business as a force for good.
I personally don't believe there is another gathering that exists today that brings together purpose-driven business leaders and leaders in other sectors to discuss a new way of working and a better world.
It's so important to have this physically, like meet people and connect with people that have the same objective that you have. Even like each one have their market, their work very specifically, but also if you can connect, it's very powerful to continue to go to this objective, like to be a better professionals, better business. So I think this is very important. This is one of my expectations, and the importance to have this type of event.
So what I personally do, and this is with the help of my incredible assistant, is scan the participant list, try to see who's going to be showing up, reach out through the app, and set up very quick 5-10 minute coffee chats. And it takes time and it does take energy as well, but for me that is probably the most valuable part of getting all these incredible change makers in the room.
Rome impacted me so much. Why? Because it brought me so much hope. Because make no mistake, to make this paradigm shift is not easy. But in Rome, I felt inspired and embraced by this movement of leaders who are showing that it is possible. So I believe really that we can make it happen together.
What's great about the Be for Good Leaders is that it's a very action-driven summit. So let's say, less chat and more action. And this is what this whole group is looking for, to feel part of a greater force. And in order to be part of a greater force, you need all the pieces of the ecosystems there working together.
The summit in Rome had a profound benefit of cementing the partnership between the members of the board of the B Corp Beauty Coalition. Not only did we have ample time to work together, to socialize together, but also we were benefited tremendously from being inspired by the agenda of the days and the contributors on the stage.
We have this power came from the other people that have sometimes the same challenge or even like different challenges.
It gives us the chance to learn from each other and actually share with each other what are our challenges as we're working to build regenerative businesses and work toward this inclusive economy that we all want. But more importantly, we can also share what are these kind of tricks of the trade in tackling these issues.
Because all of these organizations have capabilities they can contribute, all the way from the largest multinationals to the small and growing businesses and the startup social enterprises.
I want to say to the leaders that are considering it that please don't just consider it, join us. Why? Because I believe that no one can do it alone, actually. We need one another. We need to have the courage to do what's right. We need to have the courage to lead with empathy, and we need one another. And I want to be part of this movement. Who can, in 10 years from now, look into the kids' eyes and say that they have done everything they can when it really matters? So please join us.
Yeah, to follow up this, I would say, amazing discussion or talks that are being done, I would like to introduce to you a great colleague of ours. We call him the chief storyteller, and because he tells great stories, that is obvious. His name is Daniel Truran. He is from Madrid, and he will guide us through a very important app that we used during the summit. We also used that last year. It's called the GRIP system. And the GRIP system will greatly help you to connect and to go wherever you want to go. So please, Daniel, maybe you can explain that GRIP tool to all of us. And if you have questions, please ask and we will tell Daniel. So Daniel, go ahead.
Indeed, people, leaders, I keep hearing that's a key element. So how do we find these amazing individuals that are coming, the forefront of the change, the people that we need? It should be in your inbox, the solution. Depending if you have a black background or not, this email should have reached you. All you need to do is click on this login button. You can see there's a badge, registration ID, the email with which you registered, which is important to remember. And then you will be sent straight into the GRIP app. You should see your badge ID, click on this claim account. We will be recording this, so you can see this in time. It should be pretty intuitive. And after that, remember to change your passwords and confirm your new passwords. Create the account, and you're almost in. If you want to know people, you want to know who they are. And at the same time, they want to know who you are. So do spend a little bit of time. There's just a couple of questions that we highlighted for you so you can start to define, share more about who you are. Later, you will also be able to edit your settings and change more content. But right from the start, at the very least, your LinkedIn profile, company size, types of tracks you're interested in, that's a starting point. Once you click on the next, you're in. You're into this GRIP app. You can see the link down on the bottom that will also be shared. And every time you can go back and see who are the other people that are part of this event. And this is really the most powerful element, because you can go up and search for people of different kinds. So you can see up on the top, there's a search. And in the search, you can see, you can put any kind of item that you're interested in. And then you can either show interest to get to know them or request a meeting. The interesting thing here, you see recommendation. There's a really powerful, I hope, artificial intelligence algorithm behind it that is supposed to tell you more about people that we recommend for you. So if you do not want to browse through 1,000 people, do not know what to search for, there is an artificial intelligence algorithm that hopefully will provide you some good connections. But then you want to say, I really want to find somebody. So for example, I want to find somebody, you see on the top, Ahold. Is there anybody from Ahold that I can be in touch with? Of course, the CEO, SVPs, and you can get very quickly, either by name, by country, by company, by area. And then this is so important that you describe yourself well so that people can find you. And you can see how intuitive and easy it is to find these leaders. And once you found them, of course, you can just click show interest, and it's just a ping that shows that somebody has shown an interest in you. Or you can have a little message that really personalizes the request by adding a note of why you're interested in this specific person and wanting to connect with them. And most importantly, we have set up a number, just like in last year, we found one of the most valuable parts of these numbers, these tables in the main hall where people can meet and say, let's meet at this time slot in this location, and very clearly you will find the places that will allow you to make the connections happen. So you click on request a meeting, you send, and you as the recipient can decide, I would like to meet you or not, or comment and move from there. So it's a very intuitive, very fast, very powerful way to find, to meet, and to make things happen. And of course, you can see nobody likes me, so I have no pending meetings, but you will have some pending meetings. So at any time, you can see your schedule, what meetings are coming up, and always be able to plan what moves forward. And very shortly, we'll also have the program, and that will allow you to find all the details of the program, where everything will happen, where the rooms are, and so forth. But for now, enjoy this powerful tool that really will allow you to find people, meet people, and allow all this energy to become into action. There's an email in your inbox that will have provide you that information. If you do not have that email in your inbox, then we will send you a second one. Just send us an email, and we'll be very happy to send it back to yourself. But as I mentioned, in your inbox, an invitation email should be there, should have arrived this afternoon, or will arrive in the next day or so.
Yeah.
So every attendee, Daniel, every attendee who has registered will automatically get this email.
Yeah.
It should be in your inbox already. If it is not, please email us so we can correctly make sure that you receive the entering the app option.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. I'm going to call you back very shortly. So let's move to the second part. So the point that Daniel brought, it's really important because the app will allow the connections during the summit, which is a very important part. But let's move to another very important part of the summit, which is the content. So in the past few months, as I said before, a group of amazing leaders, specialists in each field, had the chance to co-create all the content that we are going to experience during the summit. Now we are going to have the chance, and it's very nice, we will have the chance to interact with the team of curators. You will be able to choose between one of the tracks that you are most interested in and go to the track to the breakout room to talk to them. But before, and to help you on your choice, I would like to call one representative of each track now to very briefly, and I'll kindly ask you to be very short, to say what's the main question that your track is trying to answer. So shall we start with Isabelle Grosmer for corporate activism. Welcome, Isabel.
Thank you very much, Francine. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you so much. So as we are starting, and we all hear business leaders convinced about business as a force for good, our track about corporate activism with Tessa, Pavel, and Claire, we are answering to the main question, which is, how can we help it go mainstream? This is really the challenge that we are facing, and this is our question for the track.
Thank you, Isabel. What about Randall Zindler? Are you there? For the leadership track. Hi, Randall.
Hi, yes, hello. Happy to be here. And what we're really recognizing is leadership as a huge opportunity in the direction, the motivation, the movement that Marcello and Lane have described. And so we want to see this shift. We think leadership is absolutely key in that. And so we have designed really sub-tracks within the leadership theme around love, around systems thinking, around more strategic approach to circularity, as well as resilience and brand as a tool for leadership to use. So those are the sub-tracks, all with this aim to enable leaders and entrepreneurs to get there and get there faster.
Amazing, thank you. Maria Correia from B Corp and Beyond. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Francine and team. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm thrilled to invite people to join us in the B Corp and Beyond track, especially because this year we're celebrating 10 years of the B Corp movement in Europe. So it's really a pivotal moment for the movement here in Europe and across the world. And we've put together a really exciting track for all of you. So whether you're already a B Corp, whether you're interested in becoming a B Corp, or you've never heard about the movement, this is a really interesting track where we'll be exploring what does the future of good business look like and why is collaboration essential to getting there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Let me take advantage that you are here. Can you shortly say about the festival that we are going to have?
Yeah, it would be my pleasure. So beyond all of the amazing content and experiences we've been talking about throughout the summit, we're really thrilled to be inviting all of you to end the summit with a big bang, celebrating the 2023 B Corp Festival in partnership with the Be for Good Leaders team. So it's a celebration of 10 years of the movement hosted at the iconic Nemo Science Museum. And that event is actually open to the public. So it's a huge opportunity for you to invite all of your teams, all of your partners, anybody who might be interested in networking and having a great time with like-minded, purpose-driven people. So we hope to see you there. And it's on Friday night, May 12th, starting at 7 p.m.
Yeah, thank you, Maria. Now let's listen the Sustainable Finance track with Brooke Latham. Yeah, hi, Brooke.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. We're looking forward to meeting you all at the summit. I've had the honor to collaborate and curate the Sustainable Finance track with Nikki, Brendan, and Vivina. Our overarching question is how can finance contribute to the solution? And we'll look at it from this demand slide from the corporate and entrepreneur perspective, as well as from the supply side, from the asset managers and financial institutions, and looking forward to hearing from innovations happening in the financial sector as well.
Thank you. And Monica Altamirano from Food Plus.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm curating this track with Tom Cummings. And so our question is, how do we, as B Corp, succeed in driving system change in the food, but also other sectors? How do we succeed in driving that change towards regeneration? And also, how do we come collectively stewards of our planet? So we want to invite you all to join us in that process of rethink and reimagine our value chains, our planning and financing practices to unlock collective investment, collective intelligence and impact, but also reflecting on the other teams that we need radical collaboration. So yeah, you are most welcome to come. We will touch upon, for example, regenerative food systems, but also how we can drive, for example, change through procurement and bring things in the right relationship. How do we create thriving communities through circularity, resilience, and regeneration? And we will end in a reflection of all those, looking at all those action cases, but then what does that mean in terms of leadership from B Corps, and how can they really become stewards of our planet? Nice to be here.
Very interesting. And last but not least, Wouter Link on the regenerative economic track. Hi, Wouter.
Yes, thank you very much. Wonderful to be here. So our track is curated by now partners with Hunter Lovins, who you all know, Maren Dolls, who used to do open innovation and circularity at Danone, and now it's one of our managing partners. Laura Santucci was the chief of staff in the Obama White House political operations and in the UN World Food Program. So very good people, but especially more importantly, all the participants will be very involved because we will present content in specifically very inspiring cases that demonstrate how you integrate regeneration of people and planet with business success and economic development, because I think all agree that we can only have a successful transition into a new mainstream if we can make it also business-wise successful. And therefore, we will look at concrete cases, but also then invite all the participants who themselves are leaders to look at how can they translate it into their organizations. We designed an innovation process that supports all of you to consider what concrete action you can take in your organizations.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, wow, so many challenges, so many deep content that we are going to experience during the summit. Now you all will have the chance to interact with the curators, the curation team. Daniel is there again. Do you want to explain how it's going to be, Daniel?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, it's very easy. You just choose the room, choose the track. Six tracks will appear, and you choose one of the 6 tracks that you want to deepen, understand more, learn more about. And you can hop around. So you can come back out and then go to another track if you want. It's entirely up to you where you want to go. I will now open the breakout rooms. You can see here the list of them. So hop in, questions, get to know, enjoy, really deepen. Prepare as much as possible for the smorgasbord of options that will be open to you at the summit.
Great. So see you all in 15 minutes. Please choose your track.
Nice to have you all back. We are going now to the third part of today's dialogue series. It's going to be a very special part because we have the privilege to have a discussion for a couple of minutes with Cheryl Ann. And Cheryl Ann is one of the wisdom keepers that we're going to have at the summit that we told you about earlier tonight. And Cheryl is a native leader and a venerable, I never know how to pronounce it well, Sioux Lakota elder woman. She is a water guardian and she descends from the Sikangu tribe of South Dakota. Welcome, Cheryl Ann. It is a big pleasure to have you here with us. I don't see your face yet, but maybe I see you, Cheryl Ann. Hi, nice to have you here. Maybe I can start with a question. We are living, as we see it, Cheryl Ann, in a poly-crisis. So there are many crises: economical, social, climate, water, among many others. I would like to call it challenges. How do you see this moment? And do you believe there is a disconnection between economy and ecology? Cheryl
Ann. First of all, thank you for allowing me to speak and giving me a place to share my story and my knowledge. I welcome you with a warm heart, and I will hold you to your words. You can hold me to my words. That's the connection that we have. That we're going to build on with all of us. Yes, there is a disconnection between ecology and the environment and economy. That disconnection has led us to the point that we are at right now. Many of you are aware that in the lower lying elevations of the planet, there has been a migration because of the rising tides. Others know about the scarcity of water. Today, there is a discussion going on about whether the leases to land in Arizona that grows alfalfa by Saudi Arabia will be canceled. It's a discussion because that land is a desert and there's a huge aquifer underneath it without any regulations or guidelines to regulate the use of that water. As a result, cities in Arizona are, that area is already a part of a desert, but now it's affecting the cities in that state. So those are two of the issues that have to do with not regulating water correctly and not living in your, as a good relative in your environment. So, and it has to do with water. That big disconnect, we can start with water. And then the next would be land, how we treat land. The common way that people treat now is they view it as an asset, they pay for it, and they, in their mind, they think that now it belongs to them. And so that's probably the biggest disconnect, is that ownership of land creates a master and slave relationship. And we cannot succeed with that mentality. That water and land, they work to sustain a bigger ecology, watersheds, bioregions. So the sustainability of the entire planet, although we seem like we're far away from each other, we're all connected. Mm-hmm. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
How we treat the land and relate with the water.
Yeah, and when you speaking about that, it makes me think about stewardship, ownership, accountability. In your vision, what should be the role of business? What they should be accountable for?
I'm glad that you brought that question up. The relationship of business leaders, they have got to take off the role that has brought us here and create a new vision. And so I'm honored to be here because the business leaders who are listening today have that opportunity, and they see the need for change. They see it and they can feel it. And once you see it and you feel it, then you know that you need to take a different route from the path that we're currently on. That different route is listening to the land. There are many cultural people out there who do nothing but listen to the land. They walk the land. So if there is land that's going to be purchased for an economic development project, then they should contact the people who the original stewards of that land and ask them how the land wants to be treated, needs to be treated for it to be sustainable. There is such a thing as, disgruntled employees because they're not treated right, or they don't feel like they fit in, or they're not being heard. Well, we have disgruntled land bases also that are treated, when they're not treated right, they're not happy. And if land isn't happy, and if water isn't protected, then it's that land, in my opinion, is not being stewarded in the right manner. It's not being listened to it, and it's not going to be sustainable.
I'm very impressed, Cheryl M., by the thing that you said earlier, that people in their minds, you said, and you pointed at your brain, people in their minds think, people in their minds think that they own land if they bought it. And that has been a big misunderstanding but it is still a big misunderstanding that people, and then they divide it into pieces and everybody at a certain piece and everybody does what they do. How do you see the role of native people nowadays? And what is the role of wisdom keepers? How can they bring that phenomenon and other phenomena to the larger audience, you think?
Today, I have a larger audience. My request has always been to my allies is that create a platform where we can tell our story, because the land has stories older than us. Water has stories older than us. Thankfully, our ancestors were in dialogue. They had a dialogue with land, animals, plants. And there are some today who still have that capacity. They're interpreters, and they can go to a land base and actually hear and feel the status of that land. Scientists and spirituality, it feels like they're very disconnected, but they aren't actually disconnected. Scientists will someday understand what I'm saying, and I hope it's not 100 years from now when the tipping point has gone too far in one direction. But water is alive; she has purpose. So has land. So has watershed, and they work well together. Our job, first of all, is to remember those stories and to humble ourselves and remember that we're not the decision makers, even though we think we are. That's also a myth that we think that we're in control. So it's our stories, and the majority of wisdom keepers I know have those stories. They're still intact, and it's about the relationship of the land, how it was created, what its purpose was. But what I want to share with you right now is that I want people to realize that we were the last beings created on this planet, the last. So whatever we learned was taught. It was taught by plants, animals, winds, the sun, the moon, the stars. So the stories that we share, that's where they come from. They're not made up. They're real. And that's what I want to tell you today is that that's our place.
Wow.
Maybe Monica Altamiro, Cheryl Ann, didn't have a question, but a comment. Maybe Monica, you can share that with us. Monica Altamiro.
Altamirano, no, good. My last name is quite long, but no, thank you so much. I'm really happy that you bring water to the front, because I've been working in water the last around 13 years, and I think that is along with soil is one of our global commons. And I think the good news is that there are a lot of synergies, right? So if we go towards regenerative agriculture, for example, we're also increasing the capacity of our soils to hold water, to regulate water extremes. So I put some resource in the chat that is a recent report of the Global Commission on the Economics of Water, which includes one of the vice presidents of the Club of Rome, but also the head of the World Trade Organization, different influential people to make a clear call for action, but also to make us understand that it's not just a common good at local level, but at global level, right? So the way we have managed water, we're breaking the water cycle and basically making that we won't have enough water in the future for generations to even have drinking water, like we saw in Cape Town, for example, and in many cities that face what we call a day zero. So yeah, just hoping also in our track we will pay a lot of attention to water, and those connections with soil and some regenerative practices. So please join us.
Yeah. I just have another comment for you, Sherry, that is very kind. Walter Drost is thanking you for your wonderful, humble, and care sharing. Indeed, science and spirituality, wow, are close. Einstein is a great example.
And then there is a question, Cheryl Ann, that came in just now, talking about the seventh generation. 7 generations, taking care in every decision that you take. The question was asked by the audience. Can you tell us something about that? In every decision you take, you think about 7 generations into the future.
Yes. I'm going to share a really short story. So I was in Standing Rock, North Dakota, a few years ago. The reason why I went there was because I have a relationship with water. Water called me there. Water called thousands of people there. So that was an intuition that and a signal that people felt that water literally was sending out to as many people as she could to get them to be there. And at max capacity, there were probably 15,000 people. Behind those 15,000 people, there was a support group of maybe 10 to 20 people to keep that person there. So it was much larger than 15,000 people, but it was to protect water. And I went there not to protect water for myself. I went there because that water has to last further than 7 generations. But our people, when we make decisions, we talk about the result along a 7-generational line. In 7 generations, this project that I'm taking, how will it affect the 7th generation? And that is what business leaders, good business leaders who want to be a good relative to the planet need to think about. They need to think about this land I'm taking, the way that I'm using it, the resources that I'm gathering. How is it going to affect the people 7 generations from now? And not just the people. How is it going to affect the climate? How is it going to affect the flow of the river? How is it going to affect the habitat where hundreds, maybe even thousands of other living entities live? We have everybody that lives in the soil, everybody that lives in the trees, everybody that scurries around the grasses, everybody that, flies. These are all living entities, and we call them nations because they were the original teachers of how to live in harmony and most importantly, in peace.
Well, thank you.
Peace is a big part of economy.
Thank you,
and
Cheryl.
spirituality.
Yeah. Cheryl, and the question was asked, how can we get in touch with you? Well, first of all, we're in touch with you now. But secondly, you will be one of the wisdom keepers at the summit, as Marcello answered. So you will be there. People can be in touch with you when they're there, and they can enjoy and learn from you there.
Yeah, and just to finalize our conversation today, what would be your piece of advice for us as Be4Good leaders and also for all the leaders that are listening to you?
Seek peace. Seek it. Seek it for yourself. The reason why I say seek peace is because that was the great mandate. That was the greatest mandate to mankind from all of our teachers, but specifically from the white buffalo cap woman. When she came to our people, she taught us to live in peace, and she gave us 7 ceremonies to do that, and a list of rules to follow on how to be a good relative, to maintain that peace.
Yes.
So that's the number 1 rule.
Wow, what an amazing way to finalize our dialogue series. Cheryl, I would like to thank you so much to be with us. I can't wait, and we can't wait to meet you in Amsterdam very shortly.
3 weeks.
3 weeks by now, yeah. And yeah, to finalize, we come to an end of our dialogue series. Unfortunately, we could be speaking to you the whole afternoon, I would say. I would like to thank you, our roundtable guests, all the curators that have been working intensely to create an amazing content for us. Sherry Wen, that just been with us. Lynn and Marcello, of course, today they were sitting at the table. All the I would like to finalize this dialogue series with a special thank you for our team at P4Good Leaders that has been working very hard to the best experience in Amsterdam, and I couldn't avoid saying thank you to Astrid, Daniel, Lara, Peter, Svetlana, Priya, Richard, and Veronica, all the concierge desk that maybe you have been in contact with them, and our partners, and of course the IT global team, especially Frank van de Ven, owner and CEO. Thank you for hosting us on the studio, and thank you all for being here with us. And I do hope to see you in 3 weeks in Amsterdam. If you haven't subscribed yet, you still have the chance. It will be amazing to see you there. And now let's take a look on to finalize with the amazing band that we are going to have during our sessions in Amsterdam. See you there. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
got my hair